Hi, everyone. Hi, Unity family. Hope you're having a wonderful month. My name is Margaret Stiober, and I'd like to share some meditation with you. Um, I don't know when you're going to receive this meditation, but we're going to kind of be focusing a little bit on gratitude as we're coming into Thanksgiving. But before we start the meditation, I wanted to share three quotes with you that kind of like will start the conversation of what we're going to be doing in meditation today. And the first quote is from Rumi, and it reads like this: The desire to know your own soul will end all other desires. And that's by Rumi. And that I just feel like that's just such a deep quote. I've been just thinking about that a lot. There's just really a lot there to unpack. So that's the first quote I wanted to share. And the second one is also from Rumi, and it goes like this: The body is only an instrument for the spirit. Another one by Rumi. So some deep reflection there too. And then the last one is actually from the Bible, and it's Psalm 139, 13 to 14. And it reads like this: For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. I just think that's a really beautiful quote. So those are just three quotes, so we are going to be talking a little bit about our bodies today in meditation. But before we get started, I always like to do a little mini exercise so that we all are in the same heart space. And the best way I know how to do that is by connecting our hearts all together. So I would just ask if everyone could, for a moment, close their eyes and take a deep breath in and place one hand on your heart. And as you place this hand on your heart, I want you to think about all the things that you're grateful for. Maybe it's your family at Unity. Maybe it's your coworkers. Um, Maybe it's things like someone gave you a ride today, or you have a warm meal, or someone smiled at you. There's always so much more that we have that we don't realize, but just think about all those things that you're grateful for and just spend a moment just marinating in that gratitude. Now take your other hand and place on your heart. And this time, I'd like you to think about all the people that you love. It could be your family at Unity. It could be your family that you were born into. It could be the people in your life that have passed on. It could be your friends, your coworkers, neighbors, your fur family, your pets. So just take a moment and think about all those amazing, amazing people that you love and just really feel into that love. And as you think about all the people you love, don't forget to add yourself to that list, because only you knows all the things that you've gone through, and you are someone that is worthy of your own love. So just appreciate yourself for one moment. So with our hearts all filled with love and gratitude, excuse me, always drink water too. Um, at this time, I I'm going to ask that our heavenly creator and Yeshua and all the archangels and whoever's your private intentions for as spiritual advisors to join with us and be with us as we go through this meditation. And let's just spend a moment and breathe deeply and just ask for their help and their protection and for them to be with us as we take a journey into meditation. So take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And just ask Yeshua and our Heavenly Creator and the archangels to be with us and bless us. And just receive their love coming over us and perceive like this white light coming through, entering through our crown and just wafting through our face. And let this white light just wash into your body. And every breath in and every breath out brings in more and more of this beautiful white light, this healing oxygen, this healing energy from our Creator. And let this white light go deep into your lungs and let it spread throughout your chest. And every breath is bringing in more and more healing energy, healing light. And allow this white light to come down into your abdomen. Every breath is bringing in more and more white healing energy, white light. And let this white light come down into your legs. And let this white light come down into your knees and your shins and your feet. And your whole body is encased in white light. You are divinely guided, divinely protected. You are filled with love from the Creator. You should feel your body sinking into your surroundings, your chair, or wherever you are. Now feel roots grow from the bottom of your feet and feel those roots grow deep into the earth and go deep, deep into the earth and go deeper and deeper until they reach the center of the earth. And have those roots spread out and spread out even more. In every breath, these roots are spreading out more and more. Now, in your next breath, bring your energy back up through the roots, back up through the ground, back up through your feet, and back into your body. So you are anchored between heaven and earth, and you are held and you are loved. So if you haven't already, I suggest that you get somewhere comfortable, and we can begin in just a moment. So to do this meditation, you can be laying down or sitting up. It's going to be a little bit different of a meditation, but it's something that I try and do frequently, and I find going through my body in this way is very healing and very relaxing. To start off, I invite everyone to close their eyes because it's just easy to start this way and to kind of get yourself into that space. So close your eyes and take a slow breath in, an easy breath out. Take another slow breath in, an easy breath out. Now imagine you're outside and either you're sitting in the grass or you're laying in the grass, and it's this beautiful starry night. And it's the perfect temperature. You have a light coat on, but you're comfortable. You're not cold and you're not hot. It's a perfect, perfect time. And as you're looking out, you're thinking to yourself, this is an amazing time to be alive. Our earth is going through so many changes, and our bodies are feeling it. A lot of people are having many, many physical ailments. And it's because collectively we're going through an awakening and our bodies are just trying to catch up. So we're going to give our body some love and gratitude. So what I'd like you to do is start with focusing on your feet. Now, our feet don't really get that much attention, but if you can reach your feet, great. If you can't, just follow my voice, but turn your attention to your feet. And if you can move your feet, move your feet into like circles, or maybe you know, draw out the alphabet or your name with your feet. Just get your feet moving a little bit and see how that feels. And just feel, there's some tension in your feet, or your feet do so much. And maybe, you might hear some crackling or snapping, those tendons in your feet and ligaments, they need a little love too. So take another deep breath in, a slow breath out. And if you're in a place, express out loud to your feet gratitude. Gratitude that they get you around. Gratitude that they take you where you need to be. Gratitude that they get you to work. Gratitude that you're able to go to the store or you're able to go to work or whatever it is. But express some gratitude to your feet. Now, all together, let's take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And I just want you to consider for a moment all the paths that you have taken in your life that you are most grateful for. Maybe it was a decision to join Unity. Maybe it was who you married. Maybe it was a decision to move into a certain neighborhood. Maybe it was a decision to buy a certain car and whatever it is, but your feet and the what your feet represent is you're walking on your path of life. Give yourself some gratitude for making the right decisions, for taking the path, and for going where you needed to go. So we're just going to take a deep breath together and let it out slowly. And you're just going to give yourself some gratitude for those choices and paths that you took in life. Now let's move our awareness to your hips. Um, and if you can you move your hips a little bit? Just kind of make a circle a little bit with your hips. Or if you can't, put your hands on your hips and just place your hands there for a second and tell your hips thank you. Because, without your hips, it would make walking really difficult. It would make sitting really difficult. And express that gratitude to your hips for the physical component, the physical part they play in your life. Now, on a metaphysical level, our hips are part of our sacral chakra, and that's where our reproductive organs are and our organs of waste and elimination. But it's also our center for creativity and where our inner child is. So I want you to think a minute about that and think about um, the presence of children in your life, perhaps your own children or children that you know, or children that you knew growing up, or childhood memories. And let's just take a deep breath together and just spend a moment in gratitude for that part of us, and however that looks for you. So let's take a deep breath in, let out slowly, and let's just be in gratitude for the presence in whatever way it is for you, for children in your life. Okay, now moving up our body, we're coming to our abdominal area or our solar plexus. And typically, this is an area where we sometimes experience fear. A lot of times when someone's afraid, they get like an upset stomach or butterflies in the stomach. That's typically a place where it's stored for people. And it's the place where you digest your life. So place your hands on your stomach for a second and just say thank you to your stomach for it's gotten you this far in life. And sometimes we don't always have appreciation for our stomach. We sometimes we don't like the way our stomach looks, or we're unhappy because we can't eat certain foods, and sometimes we get upset with our stomachs. But I think it does a pretty good job. These are challenging times, and there's a lot more additives in our food, and it's not always easy to do the job of the stomach. So let's just take a moment to appreciate our physicalness, the physicality of our stomach, of our solar plexus. Now, next thing I'd like you to do is think about a time in your life when you really stepped up, when you had courage, when you did something that you didn't think you were going to be able to do, and you did it, and maybe you didn't think you were going to, but you know what, you had to do it. Sometimes we just have to do things that we don't want to do them, or we don't think we can, but we just have to. So I'd like you to spend a moment and marinate on you, and when you did something that took a lot of courage, and you did a wonderful job at, and maybe you didn't always appreciate that you did that, but let's just take a moment and honor that part of you that had courage, and be in gratitude and honoring. And it might help to put your hands on your solar plexus, whatever's comfortable for you. But let's take a deep breath together, and let's just honor that part of us. Okay. Well, we're moving on to our heart. And let's just put our hands there together and take a deep breath in, slow breath out. And we have our physical heart, and I mean, it does an amazing job. It's just working nonstop. So maybe we could just spend a moment and tell our hearts thank you for doing such a miraculous job. I mean, really. And so let's just honor our physical heart for a moment here. Now, on a metaphysical level, the heart is our center for giving and receiving love. And it works best when there's like this even flow where we're not giving too much or we're not taking too much, when it's this flow between giving and receiving. And sometimes it's not always easy to keep our hearts open, especially after a devastating loss or betrayal or for certain reasons. But if, after you get to a certain age, and if you are still able to love, that is divine. So, for a moment, think about your love life. And I don't mean necessarily, romantic, but just think about the love that you give, and all the people that love you, and just honor that you are a loving divine being. And it's not always easy to be that, but honor that part of you. And let's just keep our hands on our hearts for a moment, and let's breathe together, and remember that you are a loving, divine, unconditional being. So let's take a deep breath in together, let out slowly, and just honor in the face of everything that you've been through, that you are still able to love, and that is something to be celebrated. Okay, we're moving up to the solar plexus, and excuse me, the throat chakra. And our throats are so important. I mean, that's what distinguishes us from other beings, is that we can communicate. And it's so important to communicate in a truthful way, and to speak in gratitude, and to speak with kindness. And um, you know, sometimes it's not always easy, but in this day and age, we still need to be kind, and to use our voices for truth, for honoring of God, for gratitude, for loving up on someone else. And our our throats are very, very important. And so let's just take a moment and maybe just put your hands where like your larynx would be, and a thank you to your throat for the ability to speak. And some people have the ability to sing, and I'm always so impressed because I can't sing. Um, but let's just spend a moment and appreciate our throats. And the Bija mantra for the throat is hum, hum. And you really, when you do that, you can really feel it vibrate in your throat. If you ever just want to like really activate your throat chakra, you could just do that. But I want you to think about a time when you spoke up, when you're able to speak about your faith, where you spoke up for someone else, when you spoke up for yourself, and you honored the truth, you honored your throat, and be in gratitude for that because it's not always easy to do, but it's honoring ourselves because we have our voices for a reason, and we are here to heal with our voices, and we're also here to communicate with our voices. And when we use our voices instead of like stuffing it back down, that helps our body to be in harmony. So think about a time when you um, especially spoke up for yourself or for someone else, and you didn't quiet yourself down, and be in gratitude, and let's honor that person that inside you that did that. So let's just take a deep breath together and let out slowly. And um, and let's just honor that part of you. So we'll be quiet for a moment and just honor your voice and when you spoke up. Okay. Well, as we continue moving up from your body, we just at your throat. Now we're going to go to the third eye. And the third eye is, your place of intuition, imagination, and um, sometimes it's the place where you see things that other people don't see. It's the third eye. It's the eye here. So, maybe just spend a moment, tapping your third eye, or, some people sometimes say if you put your tongue to your roof of your mouth, that innervates your third eye. I think just tapping it lightly and just be in gratitude that you have that ability, that you can dream, and sometimes you can get an idea that wasn't there before, and that is all your third eye. So let's just spend a moment in gratitude to our third eye. Now I'd like you to think about a time when you came up with a solution. You know, maybe you were helping someone with a problem, and it popped in your head the perfect solution. They were trying to figure something out, and all of a sudden it just came to you like that. That's your intuition. Um, uh, or maybe you were talking with someone, and then suddenly you start thinking about strawberries, and you said, "Hey, what's this thing about strawberries?" And they're like, "Oh my goodness, I've been thinking about strawberries too. Thank you for that sign. I've been wondering if I should add strawberries to my dessert." I mean, it's kind of a silly example, but that's our third eye, and that is that connection with God, with source. And so I'd like us next for you to think about a time when you honored your third eye, when you saw the creative solution that no one else saw, when you paid attention to your intuition, when you followed the signal, and then suddenly you found the perfect idea for someone, or for yourself, whatever it is. When you had a dream, and you followed up on it, whatever it is. The intuition comes in many ways. Sometimes it comes as number sequences, or something we see in our dreams, or we a word pops in our head and we say it, and it's the word that someone else has been trying to remember, or whatever. So let's honor our third eye and honor that we have that connection with God, and you know, acknowledge that we have that part of ourselves. And let's just take a moment. We'll breathe together, let it out slowly, and let's just honor our third eye for a second and be in gratitude. Okay, so we just did the third eye. Now we're going to go to the crown. And um the crown is really your direct connection to source. And it's believing and knowing that you are a child of God, and just having that direct alignment and keeping God as your North Star, and knowing that you are here as a child of God, and believing and feeling, and just really keeping that as the center point, as the North Star of your life. So that's really what your crown is all about. And sometimes, like if you ever get like that feeling like really light on your forehead, or excuse me, on the top of your head, that's kind of like that third eye opening a little bit. That's like, just kind of like, I always kind of think of it like a little tickle from God or something. But so sometimes it comes through where you just, you understand the right thing to do. You understand your morals. You understand your faith. You feel very connected to God, and that's it. Your connection with your third eye, your through the crown. So, maybe take a moment and think about a time when you felt very close to God, when you felt God's guidance coming through, when you felt God very present in your life. So let's just take a moment and be in appreciation for that. And with the crown chakra being here and our brain, sometimes it's, like, okay, which one do you listen to? And that's kind of like the dilemma sometimes. But if you keep your focus on God, and keep it there, and then just allow your brain to be supportive to you. It's, I mean, it's kind of like this fine line of not allowing your brain to run your life, but allow your faith to be, your North Star. So I would just like to us to deep breathe for a moment, and I want you just to think about a time when you felt really moved by your faith, when you really felt God's presence in your life, or when you felt especially loved and cared for by God. And just remember that moment, because that sometimes you might forget that you've had those wonderful moments with Creator. But let's just remember that moment for a moment and be in gratitude. Um, and let's just relish in that closeness we've had with Creator. Some people struggle with finding those connections, and I'm guessing if you're coming to Unity, that you have that, and be in gratitude that you are able to experience that. And just sometimes even just remembering it will bring us back to that place of like closeness with God. So let's just take a deep breath together and let out slowly. And then just reflect on that closeness that we have with God. Okay. Well, how does your body feel? It's amazing when we acknowledge our body. It's working so hard for us, and the body likes to be acknowledged. Um, it's we are beautifully and wonderfully made by our Creator, and everything has meaning. And all the times our body is speaking to us, it's always, always to help us. And when you're having symptoms, you can ask God, like, why do I have this? Why am I getting these rashes on my arms? What does that mean? And there's always a purpose. Things don't just happen randomly. And you can always ask God to help you understand. There's a lot of really cool books out there, like Louise Hayes has several books on, heal your body, heal your life. There's different ones out there, and understand that as intricate as the our whole world is, our own body is like a universe in itself. And each one of us is a once in a lifetime event. We are so magnificently made. And it's just being gratitude for being alive at this time, and for this time and this awakening that's going on all over. And honor our bodies, because they're working really hard. um, I keep finding myself, I have to keep drinking more and more water, and try and be more and more healthy, because it's just harder all the time. So if you haven't already, open your eyes and take a deep breath in. Let out slowly. Open your eyes, be back in the present moment. And anytime you need to and your body doesn't feel right, to go through this exercise, and every time something different will come up, some other thing that you need to be grateful for, or some other part of your body might need attention. But let's come back into the present. Maybe just move your head from side to side, do a head circle, move your shoulders up and down, raise your arm the other way, cross yourself over, give yourself a hug, tell yourself you did a great job. Put your hands out, wiggle your fingers, shoulder roll, move your hips, pat your thighs, stomp your feet on your ground. Should be completely back in your body. I hope you found this exercise slash meditation helpful. And I hope you're feeling well, and much love. Thank you.